For more on this story and the very latest, in fact, looking also at the UN Secretary General race, let's speak to Correspondent Sherwin Bryce-Pease, who joins us live from New York. We're back here again, Sherwin. We're back here again. So I'm going to get to the race to replace Antonio Guterres in just a moment, but I cannot resist. I cannot resist what I just heard. So I want to start with the latest developments on Iran. After yet another round of retaliatory strikes between the two sides, as this tit-for-tat scenario appears to only be entrenching positions as it relates to the Strait of Hormuz.
Remember you asked me a question about the high oil price last week and how it had receded on the news, that there was this sort of diplomatic push again, and I told you what goes down can go up, and of course the oil price is very indicative of where we find ourselves in this ongoing conflict. Bongiwe, around $89 a barrel. I was running the numbers before I came on here. On February 27th, just the day before the strikes were launched by Israel and the United States against Iran, the price of Brent crude was at $71 a barrel. In January 1st of this year, $60 a barrel. So if you take it from January 1st to July 30th, you are paying around $29 a barrel more for a barrel of Brent crude oil, and that, of course, is filtered down into your fuel price, your petrol price, your diesel price, the cost of food, and the list goes on. So the oil price is very, very instructive about where you find ourselves in this process, in this fragile ceasefire, not ceasefire, and really indicative of the mediation or the lack thereof in this moment. Of course, you see the continuing spiral of retaliatory revenge, tit-for-tat strikes. And you're also seeing more countries getting involved, right? The United States and Saudi Arabia jointly responding to Iran-backed militias in Iraq this week, firing missiles, retaliatory strikes against those militias that were seeking to attack U.S. assets in the region. And of course, Iraq's prime minister now condemning that as a violation of sovereignty. And so what the UN Secretary General, what officials here have been saying in New York about the expansive nature of this conflict, the fact that it can grow throughout the region, is now playing itself out. And what you're not resolving is who controls the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's IRGC asserting that it controls the strait. The United States says it controls the strait. There is still a naval blockade in place, and not much movement on the diplomatic frontier. And that means you will continue to pay more for just about everything moving forward.
Yeah, back here again, I suppose. But let's change focus now, right? UN Security Council had its first straw poll, or informal vote, one would say, that begins to, process the selecting of the next UN Secretary General. So this is to gauge, I would say, which of the 7 candidates in the race would be considered frontrunners and those who may not have much support at all. So what can you share with us in that regard? It's a story I'm really watching very closely.
Yeah, and we sent you a preview yesterday in terms of where we found ourselves ahead of this preview, ahead of the straw poll, essentially a closed-door, unofficial vote just to gauge which of the 7 candidates have the most support here. And I can tell you the breaking news we are now hearing from diplomats. This is an unofficial line because the Security Council has taken a decision not to release the results of these straw polls through official channels, but the leaks are happening as we speak. And I can tell you that Rebecca Greenspan, the former vice president of Costa Rica and the current head of the UN Conference on Trade and Development, according to diplomats, got the most number of votes in support here, followed very closely, we understand, by Carolyn Rodriguez-Burkett, the current Guyanese ambassador to the United Nations, a former foreign minister from that country. She was a close second. And then a close third, we understand, was Rafael Grossi, the Argentinian diplomat, who is currently the Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency. I had an exchange with the current president of the Security Council, who came out to speak to journalists after that straw poll. This is the exchange. I think it'll be instructive. Watch.
The first round of straw poll has taken place. The candidates will be informed of the results through the respective permanent representatives of nominating member states. The President of the General Assembly will also be informed that the straw poll has been conducted. I thank you very much. I'm not going to give you the numbers. What I can say is that the straw poll has three steps on the paper, you have encouraged, discouraged, and non-opinion. So you mark whatever you want to mark. And we have the results after going through all the members of the Security Council.
Ambassador, what is the rationale that the Security Council is not releasing the results? What's the thinking behind that?
The thinking behind is to keep everything closed, and we want transparency at the same time, efficiency, but we don't want speculations on that.
But you can't have it both ways. You can't say you want transparency and then not release the results. I mean, that's a contradiction in terms.
That feeds speculation.
But this is what the Security Council has decided. I'm just reporting. I'm just serving. I'm not the one who took the decision.
How are the women candidates doing?
Everybody's doing well. Thank you very much.
I mean, you can't say I didn't try there, Bonge. We really tried to get some answers. He was not budging on giving us the numbers, but we can now confirm that Rebecca Greenspan, the current executive director of the UN Conference on Trade and Development, seems to be the front runner for now. This is the first of many straw polls. And remember, it is the Security Council that will make a decision, a recommendation to the General Assembly. In terms of the Charter, the General Assembly must then appoint on the recommendation of the Security Council. That process is evolving. We expect another straw poll under the Danish presidency in the month of August in the Council. And by, I think, the end of September into October, end of October, we might actually have a replacement for Antonio Guterres to share with you.
Interesting times ahead. Thank you for that update, Sherwin, as we continue then to watch that race very closely here back home as well. Quite an interesting one. That is Sherwin Bryce-Pease there live for us in New York.